Most individuals who have lived through the Vietnam War had knowledge of the chemical known as Agent Orange. Today, many have forgotten the horrors inflicted on an innocent population. Used as a herbicidal spray to clear forests, Agent Orange was responsible for over 400,000 deaths in the country.
One thing that almost no one knows is that the company that produced this killing machine now helps produce 70% of all the food that we eat. Monsanto is the world's leading producer of genetically modified crops and seed, and most of those foods are corn and soybeans.
Genetically modified organisms are living organisms that have had their genes mutated or had some of the traits from another organism infused with their own. Without knowing, the American consumer had slowly been fed more and more of these GMOs every year for the past 2 decades. GMOs are in almost everything we eat.
Many of these organisms have been modified to poison the insects that would eat them, or resist herbicides that would normally kill them. They sound fine until we realize that we're eating whatever's been put into these plants to kill other things. But companies like Monsanto make billions of dollars every year selling these products to you, and they aren't going to stop anytime soon because of morality.
Some might ask how biowarfare so quickly became a food distributor after Vietnam. They had plenty of help. There are just a few of the men formerly employed by Monsanto, multiple high-ranking members of the FDA and EPA, as well as Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Companies like Monsanto have worked very hard, along with an army of lawyers and public officials, to redefine genetically modified organisms as property of the mind, rather than the physical objects that they are.
By patenting these seeds as property of the mind, they were able to make it illegal for farmers who buy their seeds to continue the age-old technique of saving seeds. Doing this hurts the environment as it requires more seeds to be produced and wasted every year, meaning more water, fertilizer, pesticides, and land.
Since the introduction of GMOs in India in the past decade or so, the rate of farmer bankruptcies has increased 12 times. Along with the bankruptcies comes a rate of over 35,000 suicides in the same period. To say there's no connection between these two statistics is ignorant.
Remember what Monsanto did to their last customers? This is what the company that we are trusting with our food and our health. And for the couples of decades that genetically modified food has been a part of the global food market, there has been virtually no testing done to see whether there are.
Most of the corn we eat in the U.S. has been genetically modified to carry the genes of the poison known as Bt. This was done in order to fend off the crop-eating pesticide, the European corn borer. The side effect of Bt is that it also kills monarch butterflies that eat its pollen.
The monarch population of the Midwest has been severely decreased by the digestion of the highly toxins from genetically modified corn. The deaths of the butterflies signify the failure of the FDA to ensure the food that we are eating is safe, and although most may not know it, they play a major role in ecosystems.
1,000 years ago, there were thousands of varieties of fruits and vegetables and other food sources around the globe. They gave all the nutrition that our ancestors needed to survive. Today, the number of varieties has been severely reduced through seed patents and other methods of ending this biodiversity.
While with genetically modified food, if a disease were to ever strike any of these undiverse plant strains, the entire world's supply of that food would be threatened. Another thing about the plants is that they cross-pollinate, so the pollen from the genetically modified food can blow in the wind and infuse with the pollen.
Some of the pros about genetically modified food that you'll hear argued is that they create higher yields for companies that produce them, and they allow for more food to be grown every year. And they say that nutrition can be added to the crops that don't have a lot of nutrition naturally.
And then the cons are the crops are literally grown with poison in their DNA. The cost farmers It costs farmers millions of dollars every year to buy seeds, and they cause damage to the environment by destroying natural plant diversity. Necessary nutrition can be found in the natural biodiversity that exists without GMOs. Bringing back local crop strains that are naturally adapted to the environments will solve all the problems that GMOs attempt to without negative side effects. And thanks for